Hey guys, welcome back to Holistic Homesteading with the Hursts. I'm Megan, and in today's video we are going to be cleaning, cooking, and canning this stuff for summer.
Almighty, I worship in your house.
So it has been a while since I cleaned out my fridge, but it gets super dirty super quickly and super unorganized. So this one was going to be an attempt to completely rehaul it, get all of the yucky food out that's gone bad, and clean it out, as well as organize it so that we could hopefully keep this from happening again. We'll see how it works. So the first thing I did was remove a bunch of really soft apples that we had. And so sometimes we have a lot of extra fruit and stuff, and so I wanted to get those out. But once I got everything like cleaned out of the fridge, I put labels on each shelf to kind of help us organize stuff. Now my husband has still yet to read the labels and try to put things where they go, so we've still been adjusting to this, but it is still working well. I'm able to go in there and just kind of shuffle things around. But the condiment shelves were just overflowing with stuff, and so I emptied all of that out, relabeled everything, and I actually had an open shelf, so that was nice. And this is a realistic view of a refrigerator that has been cleaned. So this starts out really well and ends really bad. So I took all of those kind of really soft apples, washed them, took the stickers off of them, and was going to make applesauce with them. And so the easiest way for me to do that is to cut them up into larger pieces, throw them in a crock pot, and I put some water in there. I don't know, I'd like a full crock pot. I'd just probably put like a third of a cup or half a cup of water, and then I typically put some cinnamon in there, but we were out of cinnamon, so this is just going to be regular applesauce. And I cook it on high for 4 hours, then use my immersion blender to blend it up and make applesauce. But I completely forgot about it, and it burnt, and so it ended up being chicken food. So thankfully we have a system that doesn't make it go to waste, but it was very unfortunate because I had planned on canning the applesauce and just keeping it downstairs in storage for later on in the season, but that's not what happened. So I am preparing here to can some pickles and some jalapenos, I think. And so I boil my jars because we don't have a dishwasher, so I hand wash them and then I boil them just to kill off any bacteria. And I'm trying out my new, what's this thing called, food processor, yeah, to cut up my cucumbers to hopefully save me some time. So this is the first time I'm using it for this specific purpose, so I'm just trying to figure out like the settings and everything. But once I figured this out, I was actually able to save some time. Now some of the cucumbers were too large round to fit down into the chute, so I ended up just slicing them into the finger length slices and canning them that way with refrigerator pickles. But I have found if you cut your pickles about a ½ inch, then they stay crispy longer. So my family likes the crispy ones, and they really just like to use them as snacks. So that was my purpose for doing that. Then I just throw those cucumbers into the jar and put my spices in. And oh yeah, you want to make sure if you're using vinegar, you want to have 5% acidity. So apparently this year they have come out with vinegar that's like 4%. This is what I've been hearing. So Just make sure it has 5% acidity. So these are dill pickles. I use dill, garlic, and salt in each jar. And I don't know, you guys can kind of guesstimate how much is in each jar. It's not a whole lot, maybe like a teaspoon of each. And then I just sprinkle a little bit of salt in there. This is Celtic sea salt. And once I'm done pouring my vinegar and water into the jars that has been boiling, I will can them according to my canning book. Here is a easy way to cut your bread. If you're making sandwich bread, you take a meat knife, electric meat knife, and cut your slices. This is my second time using this on my sandwich bread, and it works so much better. You get even cuts. And I've been using Kate's sourdough bread from Venison for dinner, using her recipe, and it's so good, you guys. I've used it for bread making, and I've used it for what is it, hamburger buns. Yeah, so it worked really well. Now I am making supper. So this is all in the same day, and that is why I ended up burning the applesauce, because I was trying to do too much in one day. So the tortilla recipe is actually on my blog, so I will link that in the description box below. But it's so easy. It's just butter, flour, water, some sourdough starter, and some salt, and mix all of that together and cut them up into sections, roll them out, and fry them in a pan. And it's a family favorite. We've had many guests over and served them this recipe, and they just absolutely love this. So if this is something that you guys like to share with your family, it's tortillas, this is a great recipe to add to your recipe book. We wanted to have fish tacos this night, so I bought some cod at Aldi's, and we looked up a quick recipe for the fish, and we made some fish sauce too from yogurt. So it was a super healthy meal, and it tasted so good. And actually, I wasn't really sure how the kids would like it, because they're not too keen on like salmon and stuff, but they actually requested this again a couple of days later. Next day, I decided to go ahead and start preserving some of my tomatoes. I didn't have like a whole lot, but these were starting to turn, so I wanted just to make some quick spaghetti sauce with it. I did end up canning one jar, but it really wasn't worth it. I should have just not canned it. But I leave the peelings on my tomatoes. I'm sure there's some type of nutritional benefit of leaving them on there. So while those were cooking down, I went ahead and made some jalapenos, pickled jalapenos, and these were just refrigerator kind. This recipe is on my blog as well, I think. If not, I need to get it on there. But it's super easy. You just cut up your jalapenos, put them in a jar, put some garlic powder in there, and then pour equal amounts of hot vinegar and water together on top of them, and then stick them in the refrigerator overnight, and they'll be ready the next day. It's so good. I love jalapenos. I've been adding them to my taco mix, so it's really good. Now, once I move back into the tomatoes, I use my immersion blender once they've cooked down some, and just blend them up. If I wanted to make spaghetti, or not spaghetti sauce, pizza sauce, I would let this cook down even further to make it a thicker paste. But since this was just something I wanted to do for spaghetti sauce, I just left it kind of soupy. And I always add in my seasonings later on when I'm making the spaghetti. So I canned it according to instructions, and that was it for the canning and cleaning and cooking video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Bye!